What is your English level right now? Do you really know? Are you a beginner, intermediate, or maybe advanced? Sometimes we think we know, but the truth might surprise us. Hi, this is Kevin, and welcome to the Slow English Podcast. Today we're going to do something really important, something that can change the way you learn English. If you don't know your English level, don't worry, because in this episode, we're going to check your level together. And after answering the questions, you'll understand your English better than ever before. Knowing your level is really important, because when you know it, you can study smarter, not harder. You'll know which lessons are right for you, which books you should read, and even how close you are to fluency. Without knowing your level, you're walking in the dark. With it, you have a clear map. Now, let me tell you something simple. There's a system called the CEFR. Don't worry about the big name. It just means a way to describe your English level. It goes from A1 beginner all the way up to C2 advanced. People all around the world use it to see how good their English really is. Here's how it works. I'll ask you 30 questions. You'll see 3 sentences each time. Only one is correct. Your job is to choose it. Sounds easy, right? But be careful. Sometimes the easiest looking question is the trickiest one. So, are you ready to face the challenge? Let's begin. The first 10 questions are beginner level. Question 1. Sarah don't like coffee. Sarah isn't like coffee. Sarah doesn't like coffee. Sarah doesn't like coffee is correct. To make a sentence negative in the simple present tense, we use don't for I, you, we, they, and doesn't for he, she, it. Example, I don't eat meat. He doesn't play football. Question 2. I saw an orange on the table. I saw an orange on the table. I saw orange on the table. I saw an orange on the table is correct. We use a before words that start with a consonant sound. A dog, a car. We use an before words that start with a vowel sound. An apple, an idea. Question 3. Did you went to school yesterday? Did you go to school yesterday? Have you go to school yesterday? Did you go to school yesterday is correct. For actions at a specific time in the past, yesterday, last week, we use the simple past. To make questions, we use did plus base verb. Example, did you eat? Did she travel? Question 4. This chair is more comfortable than that one. This chair is comfortabler than that one. This chair is the most comfortable than that one. This chair is more comfortable than that one is correct. When comparing, short adjectives usually add small, smaller. But for longer words, 3 or more syllables, we use more. Example, interesting, more interesting. Comfortable, more comfortable. Question 5. Him called me yesterday. He called I yesterday. He called me yesterday. He called me yesterday is correct. We use subject pronouns, I, you, he, she, we, they, as the subject. We use object pronouns, me, him, her, us, them, as the object. Great job! You're doing really well. Take a short breath. Don't worry. The next questions are just as friendly. Keep going. Question 6. I think she eats dinner at 7 p.m. I think she will eat dinner at 7 p.m. I think she is eating dinner at 7 p.m. I think she will eat dinner at 7 p.m. is correct. To talk about the future, we use will plus verb. Example, I will call you later. They will arrive soon. Question 7. The party is in Friday. The party is at Friday. The party is on Friday. The party is on Friday is correct. When talking about days of the week, we use on. Example, I'll see you on Monday. She works on Saturdays. Question 8. That book is mine. That book is mine. That book is to me. That book is mine is correct. If a possessive comes before a noun, we say my book, your car, her bag. But if there's no noun, we use mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs. Question 9. There are some waters in the glass. There is much water in the glass. There is some water in the glass. There is some water in the glass is correct. Water is an uncountable noun, like milk, money, air. We use some with both countable and uncountable nouns. Example, there are some apples. There is some milk. Question 10. They have studied English since 5 years. They have studied English from 5 years. They have studied English for 5 years. They have studied English for 5 years is correct. We use for to talk about a length of time, for 2 hours, for 5 years. We use since to talk about the starting point, since 2020, since last week. Amazing job! You've just finished the beginner section of the test. Now I'm curious. How many questions did you get right? Could it be 7 or more? If yes, your English might be level A1. That's really good. Or maybe 9 or more? Wow, then you could already be level A2. And now, let's move on to the intermediate portion of the test. Question 1. Jack always makes mistakes in writing. Jack always do mistakes in writing. Jack always makes errors in writing. Jack always makes errors in writing is correct. Make errors is a common collocation in English for describing mistakes. Other examples, I often make mistakes in math. She makes errors when typing quickly. Question 2. Sarah sings more beautifully than her sister. Sarah sings beautiful than her sister. Sarah sings more beautiful than her sister. Sarah sings more beautifully than her sister is correct. When comparing verbs, we need an adverb to describe how the action is done. We also use more with adverbs when making comparisons. Example, he drives more carefully than his friend. She runs more quickly than me. Question 3. You may to take a break now. You may taking a break now. You may take a break now. You may take a break now is correct. May is a modal verb, like can, might, should, or will. When a modal verb is followed by another verb, we use the base verb, not the infinitive. Example, I might go to the park. She can help you. You may take a break now. Question 4. Have you ever visited a museum in your city? Did you ever visited a museum in your city? Have you ever visited a museum in your city? Have you ever visited a museum in your city? Is correct. We use the present perfect tense to talk about past experiences without mentioning the exact time. Structure: have, has, plus past participle. Other examples: has he ever tried sushi? Have they ever climbed a mountain? Question 5. If we leave now, we would arrive on time. If we leave now, we will arrive on time. If we leave now, we would have arrived on time. If we leave now, we will arrive on time is correct. This is a first conditional, a real possibility in the future. Structure: if plus present simple, future tense. Example: if it rains, we will stay inside. If he studies, he will pass the test. Great job! You're halfway through the intermediate questions. Get ready for the next questions. Question 6. She hasn't finished her homework since Monday. She hasn't finished her homework for Monday. She hasn't finished her homework on Monday. She hasn't finished her homework since Monday is correct. We use since to talk about the starting point of an action or situation. Other examples: I have lived here since 2019. He hasn't called me since last week. Question 7. They had been waiting for hours when the bus arrived. They have been waiting for hours when the bus arrived. They waiting for hours when the bus arrived. They had been waiting for hours when the bus arrived is correct. We use past perfect continuous to describe an action that was happening before another action in the past. Example: she had been studying all day before the exam. We had been walking for miles before it started raining. Question 8. I wish I knew the answer. I wish I know the answer. I wish I knewed the answer. I wish I knew the answer is correct. We use wish plus past simple to talk about something we want to be different now. Example: I wish I spoke Spanish. He wishes he had more free time. Question 9. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. Although it was raining, we went to walk. Although it was raining, we went for a walk is correct. Although introduces a contrast or something unexpected. Other examples: although she was tired, she kept working. Although it's late, I will finish this project. Question 10. He should have called his friend yesterday. He should called his friend yesterday. He should have called his friend yesterday. He should have called his friend yesterday is correct. We use should have plus past participle to talk about advice or expectation in the past. Example: you should have studied more for the test. She should have told me the truth. Congratulations! You finished the intermediate section of the test. Time to check your results. How many did you get right? 7 or more? Then your English is probably level B1. Nice work. 9 or more? Wow, you might already be level B2. And now, it's time for the advanced section of the test. Get ready, stay focused, and let's see how far your English can go. Question 1. Despite of the heavy traffic, she arrived on time. Despite the heavy traffic, she arrived on time. Despite heavy traffic, she arrived on time. Despite the heavy traffic, she arrived on time is correct. We use despite plus noun gerund to show contrast. Example: despite the rain, we went for a walk. Despite studying hard, he didn't pass the exam. Question 2. He suggested to meet earlier. He suggested meeting earlier. He suggested meet earlier. He suggested meeting earlier is correct. Some verbs like suggest, recommend, avoid, enjoy are followed by a gerund, ing, not the infinitive. Example: I recommend visiting the museum. She avoids eating late at night. Question 3. Hardly I had arrived when the phone rang. Hardly had I arrived when the phone rang. Hardly I arrived when the phone rang. Hardly had I arrived when the phone rang is correct. Hardly plus auxiliary plus subject is used for emphasis in formal English. Example: hardly had she left the room when it started raining. Hardly had we started the journey when the car broke down. Question 4. She speaks English as fluent as her teacher. She speaks English as fluently as her teacher. She speaks English as more fluently as her teacher. She speaks English as fluently as her teacher is correct. When comparing adverbs using as, we keep the adverb form. Example: he runs as quickly as his brother. They worked as efficiently as the professionals. Question 5. Not only he is talented, but he also works hard. Not only is he talented, but he also works hard. Not only he talented, but he also works hard. Not only is he talented, but he also works hard is correct. Not only, but also is used for emphasis. Notice that in formal English, the verb comes before the subject after not only. Example: not only did she win the award, but she also inspired others. Great start. You've completed the first 5 advanced questions. Take a moment, breathe, and get ready for the next 5. The challenge is just getting more exciting. Question 6. I wish I would have studied harder for the exam. I wish I had studied harder for the exam. I wish I studied harder for the exam. I wish I had studied harder for the exam is correct. We use wish plus past perfect to talk about regrets about the past. Example: I wish I had listened to my teacher. She wishes she had arrived earlier. Question 7. No sooner the meeting ended than everyone left. No sooner had the meeting ended than everyone left. No sooner the meeting had ended than everyone left. No sooner had the meeting ended than everyone left is correct. No sooner plus auxiliary plus subject is used for emphasis in formal English. Example: no sooner had I stepped outside than it began to rain. No sooner had she finished speaking than the audience applauded. Question 8. He insisted on to pay the bill himself. He insisted paying the bill himself. He insisted on paying the bill himself. He insisted on paying the bill himself is correct. Certain verbs like insist, depend, approve, focus are followed by on plus gerund. Example: she insisted on attending the meeting. They depend on receiving the information on time. Question 9. I am used to get up early every morning. I am used to getting up early every morning. I am used to got up early every morning. I am used to getting up early every morning is correct. After be used to, we always use the gerund, ing form. Example, he is used to driving in heavy traffic. She is used to speaking in public. Question 10. By the time we arrived, the show already started. By the time we arrived, the show had already started. By the time we arrived, the show has already started. By the time we arrived, the show had already started is correct. We use past perfect to show that an action happened before another action in the past. Example, by the time she called, I had finished my homework. By the time he reached the station, the train had left. Amazing work! You've reached the end of the advanced portion. If you answered 7 or more correctly, your English is probably C1. Great job. If it's 9 or more, incredible. You could already be C2. No matter your results, remember, every step you take in learning English is progress. Keep practicing and enjoy the journey. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Kevin, and this is the Slow English Podcast. See you next time, and keep speaking English slowly and confidently.